A massive passenger jet is preparing for takeoff at Indira Gandhi International Airport in Delhi. Thousands of components, from the navigation software to the engine sensors, must work in perfect harmony, not just because the engineers are talented, but because they follow a strict, universally recognized set of safety standards. Without those standards, no pilot would ever leave the ground and no passenger would feel safe. ISO/IEC 42001 is the exact set of standards for the world of artificial intelligence. Technically speaking, it is an international standard that provides a framework for an AI management system or AIMS to help organizations manage the risks and opportunities associated with AI. In simple words, it is a global safety manual. It tells an organization how to build a fence around its AI tools so that the technology performs exactly as expected without causing harm. It isn't about stopping innovation. It is about putting guardrails on a high-speed vehicle so we can reach our destination safely. You have probably seen projects at the office where someone pushes a new AI feature live, and within a week, everyone is panicked because of unexpected errors. This standard prevents that panic by ensuring the foundation is solid before we even turn the ignition. So, now that we have mastered the core reason for having a global safety manual, you might be wondering how that actually translates into a concrete plan within a company. Well, that brings us right into our next step, which is the architecture of AI control. Think about the sprawling traffic intersections in Mumbai. If there were no lane markers, no traffic lights, and no signs, every driver would be guessing where to go, leading to total gridlock. To manage an AI system effectively, an organization must first define its scope, literally drawing the lines on the road. ISO 42001 requires organizations to clearly state which parts of their business are using AI and what those systems are intended to achieve. If a retail firm in Hyderabad decides to use AI for inventory management, it must define that as its scope. If they start using that same AI to analyze private customer emails without defining it, they've crossed into an unmanaged zone. Staying with me here. This is why the standard is so powerful. It forces leaders to stop and ask, where does my AI end and human decision making begin? When you don't define these boundaries, you end up with scope creep, where the AI starts influencing parts of the business it wasn't designed for, leading to major security risks. By clearly defining our scope, we ensure that the entire management system is focused, manageable, and measurable. So, now that we've mastered the importance of defining boundaries for our AI systems, you might be wondering how we ensure those systems don't become biased over time. Well, that brings us right into our next step, which is the ethics of AI fairness. A busy medical clinic in Bangalore uses an AI tool to prioritize patient appointments. If that tool was trained exclusively on data from affluent neighborhoods, it might accidentally flag patients from other areas as low priority simply because their data doesn't match the historical pattern. This isn't just a technical glitch, it is an ethical failure. ISO 42001 requires organizations to have a documented process to identify, monitor, and mitigate this kind of bias. It is not just about being fair, it is about proving to an auditor that you have tested your model against diverse datasets to ensure it treats everyone equitably. Think of it like a fair classroom exam. If the questions are written in a way that only students from one specific background can understand them, the test is fundamentally broken. As auditors, we look for evidence that the organization has stress tested its AI, looking for these hidden patterns of unfairness and actively correcting them. It is one of the most critical parts of the job because it directly impacts human lives. So, now that we've mastered the art of spotting and fixing bias, you might be wondering how we manage the actual data that feeds these powerful machines. Well, that brings us right into our next step, which is the data quality and life cycle. A logistics company in Chennai uses an AI system to calculate fuel efficiency for its delivery trucks. If the data feeding that system is outdated, for example, if it uses roadmaps from 5 years ago that don't include new flyovers or construction zones, the AI will provide terrible advice that costs the company thousands in wasted fuel. We call this the garbage in, garbage out problem. ISO 42001 demands that we treat data with the same level of care as we treat our financial records. We need to verify the source, the accuracy, and the relevance of every piece of data that enters our AI model. It is like being a chef. You can have the most expensive high-tech kitchen in the world, but if your ingredients are rotten, your meal will be a disaster. We need a rigorous data diet to keep our AI models healthy and reliable. When I audit a company, I don't just look at the code. I look at the data pipeline to see if they are actually checking the quality of the information they are feeding the machine. So, now that we have mastered the importance of feeding our AI the right information, you might be wondering how we handle the unexpected failures that can still happen. Well, that brings us right into our next step, which is incident response and resilience. Consider a major e-commerce platform in Pune during a massive holiday sale. Suddenly, their AI-driven discount engine malfunctions and starts applying a 99% discount to every single item. This is an operational crisis. ISO 42001 doesn't promise that your AI will never fail. It promises that you will be ready when it does. We require a robust incident response plan. Does the team know who to call? Is there a kill switch to stop the AI? Do they have a way to communicate with customers to fix the error before it becomes a headline? Resilience is about building a system that knows how to recover gracefully. I once saw a firm turn a major AI glitch into a positive brand moment simply because they had a clear documented response plan that allowed them to apologize and fix the issue within minutes. That is the power of being prepared, not just for the best case scenario, but for the worst. So now that we have mastered how to recover gracefully when things go sideways, you might be wondering how to make this entire process stick as a long-term business habit. Well, that brings us right into our next step, which is the culture of continuous improvement. A high-performance cricket team in Kolkata does not stop training once they win one match. After every single game, they spend hours watching the footage, analyzing the fielding errors, and tweaking their strategies to be better for the next match. That is the heart of the plan, do, check, act cycle in ISO 42001. The standard insists that an organization never reaches a finish line because the AI world is always evolving. We audit the system, find the gaps, fix the weaknesses, and then go again. This is a massive mindset shift for most companies. They are used to checking a box for compliance and moving on, but this standard requires them to make governance a living, breathing part of their weekly workflow. It is not a burden, it is a competitive advantage. When your organization adopts this cycle, you are no longer just guessing. You are building a reputation for excellence that competitors simply cannot copy. You now have the full picture of why these foundations are the backbone of a successful AI strategy.